Hi there, and thank you for joining us for the second segment. This time around, we're going to be hearing from Charlie and Alejandra discuss ways in which they've been able to support their fellow teachers, and then also some of the inequities that have been illuminated because of this pandemic and the pivot towards virtual learning.
Thanks for coming back, Alejandra and Charlie. And we want to go ahead and continue talking about, one, the differences between high school and elementary with back to school in this new environment. And you were telling us a fascinating story about how the students are reacting, with one on one side is fully engaged and then the other still having some technical issues. And so love to hear a little bit more about that.
I think the first and most important thing that we need to remember, though, is that, before we dive into any of the details, which can sound pretty somber, is that children, no matter what, want to learn, and they want to provide their very best. It doesn't matter how old they are. And I think that's also a reflection of ourselves. When we're in school, no matter what level of schooling we are, we want to be our very best selves. And if at any point we are presented with such a challenge that is too frustrating, or even a challenge in which we think that we are not being treated like we can, we shut down and we will, well, for lack of a better term, fight back in whatever way we can within, our exertable power. And for younger children, that amount of power can literally be just like, well, bye, and I'm going to go play with whatever's behind me. So a lot of what Charlie was saying earlier about the socio-emotional piece is what we call SEAL, and we are doing activities to really work on that at the beginning of the school year. That's going to be a cornerstone for all of our schools, but I personally feel that, for the littles, it's really, really critical. It's always been critical, nurture the whole child. Don't just nurture like the academic child.
Exactly.
You have to nurture the whole child to make a connection, and then the kid will show you things that you didn't even know they could do, and they didn't even know they could do. But to get to there, you have to be able to get all the kids on the same page, which I think has been the frustrating part for the first week, for lack of a better term. And I keep on saying that because there are other ways we could phrase it. But the children, we need to know who has connectivity, who does not have connectivity, who has connectivity, but it's like so slow that they need to get, whether it's an internet booster, or we need to provide them with some alternative to whatever they already have. Or how can we give, this particular student who has connectivity in the morning, but for whatever reason in the afternoon, their connectivity just goes out. How can we provide some way for them to engage with what we're doing in the classroom? And we can only do that through trial and error, which for the littles, it's very frustrating, and their frustration level goes pretty quickly. So it's our job to make that emotional connection. Again, lots and lots and lots of repetition, spending the whole first week basically making those like emotional connections, those personal connections, and doing that technological teaching of like, click here. Now you share your screen and you do the clicking. Okay, now you share your screen. Go to a breakout room and teach each other. It's going to be, honestly, laughter and joking aside, it's going to be an uphill battle for what feels like an eternity, which will hopefully only be maybe like at most, and I'm guessing here because nobody knows, a month. And then I feel like things are really going to feel like smooth sailing. Of course, there are going to be some bumps and rocks in the road, but I think we can overcome that. I feel like a lot of us are very technologically savvy, and those of us who are more, afraid or just hesitant to jump on the technological choo-choo, we can rely on those of us who really have that tech piece down. So like my fourth grade team, we're already just relying on each other. We're like, I make all the math stuff because I'm kind of like a big math elementary teaching geek. So I make all the math activities, and I'm like, here you go, team, you use that. And then another one of my partners tends to make all the science stuff, and it's like, here you go. So we've already magically split up the labor without talking about it. It just kind of like naturally happened.
Well, you bring up a really interesting point. We've done a lot of training, we've done a lot of time allotment for collaboration, and that's the face-to-face collaboration. As a team, you do often divvy up the work, right? And you want the person that, like you said, I'm the math geek, so I've got you. I've got everything good to go. How has that changed, if at all, to where you see that has it just naturally enhanced, or do you feel that some have just, I just got to survive, so I'm just going to figure this out on my own? What's it been like at the high school level, Charlie, when you guys start to really collaborate?
So we're like halfway collaborating, but also trying to figure it out because it's going by so quick. I'm really big on just saying, because my class is going to be the one that does a lot of things first. So they're going to be like the guinea pigs. So I'm definitely sharing out, this did not work, this you need another class period for, breakout rooms, maybe try to organize that before. So like I'm giving out a lot of advice. I'm also asking for a lot of advice. And I think we are still collaborating. I think we're all just so new at this that we all want to keep it simple. And I think that's important even at the high school level, that they know how to use computers. There's a lot of things that I don't have to teach them as I would with younger students, but it's still a matter of, I don't need to make this harder than than needed. So a lot of us teachers are trying to keep it as simple, maybe not the same between classes, but similar enough that if they were to ask their friend, hey, what are you doing today? It's the same type of content or topic. So that's where our collaboration is, especially with AP World. We are working very hard because now we're teaching it in a semester. So that's new to all of us, but it's been working. We just talk a lot. Now we're texting more than, I guess, Zooming, but I like it. I like what we're doing. I feel as stressed out as I am, I do feel prepared.
Hey there, good evening everyone, and thank you for joining us for the 4th episode of the Back to School Series 2020 podcast. If you want to learn more about everything Back to School 2020 and what that looks like from various perspectives, then we advise that you subscribe below and tune in weekly every Thursday at 7 p.m. We hope you enjoy, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.